In the quiet village of Umueze, there was something that everyone loved, a savory snack called fish pie. While many tried their hand at selling it, only one woman stood out: Jane. She wasn't just a seller, she was the seller. Her fish pies were unmatched in flavor, aroma, and most importantly, popularity. Every market day, customers lined up, pushing and shoving, desperate to get just one bite. Other fish pie sellers could only watch in envy as Jane's stall flourished, while theirs sat untouched. What made her pies so irresistible? No one knew, and no one asked. But the secret behind Jane's success was darker than anyone could have imagined. Jane wasn't always the talk of the town. A few years ago, she struggled to sell even one pie. Then, one day, desperate and frustrated, she was approached by a group of powerful ritualists. They promised her something she couldn't refuse: unimaginable wealth and prosperity. There was only one condition: she had to bring them children. These children, once in the hands of the ritualists, would be used in their dark rituals. Their bodies were fortified, and their flesh was handed back to Jane, who mixed it with spices and herbs, passing it off as fish in her pies. Each child Jane took increased her success, her pies becoming more famous with each sale. People would laugh and chat as they bit into their favorite snack, unknowingly consuming the flesh of missing village children. It was a twisted, nightmarish scheme, but it worked flawlessly. That is, until the day Jane made a mistake. Zita, a bright-eyed 8-year-old girl, had gone out around 4 p.m. to buy something for her mother. As she walked down a lonely path, one that Jane had used many times to capture children, she didn't notice the woman lurking nearby. Jane had done this so many times. She was confident, almost careless. But today, there was someone watching. Mr. John, an old farmer, had been perched atop a tall palm tree, observing Jane's suspicious movements from a distance. He had always found her behavior strange, but had never had proof. Today was different. From his high vantage point, Mr. John saw Jane grab Zita and force her into her car. His heart raced. Without hesitation, he climbed down and called his closest friend, Mr. Michael. Together, they planned to confront Jane, but first, they needed help. Mr. John alerted the police, sharing what he had seen. As Jane was speeding away from the scene with Zita and 2 other children bound and gagged in the back seat, she saw the flashing lights of the police cars approaching. Her heart sank. For the first time, the fear she had caused in others was mirrored in her own eyes. Caught red-handed, Jane had no choice but to confess. She told the officers everything: the ritualists, the children, the pies. Her secret was finally out, and the village was plunged into horror and disbelief. The pies that had brought them so much joy were the result of unimaginable evil. The taste they craved was stained with innocent blood. As Jane was taken away, her once glorious reputation crumbled into dust. No one could believe that the woman they had trusted was capable of such wickedness. The village would never be the same. Evil may hide behind a smile, but no matter how much it is disguised, the truth always finds its way to the surface. Be careful of blind trust, and remember that greed can lead people to commit the most unforgivable acts. What you consume, both physically and spiritually, shapes who you are. Choose wisely, for not everything that glitters is gold, and not every sweet bite comes from a pure source. In the end, it wasn't Jane's pies that brought her down. It was her greed, her hunger for more that consumed her, and in doing so she became her own undoing.
Subscribe for more stories and give this video a thumbs up.